Thanks a lot, David, and yeah, welcome everybody who came along live or whoever is going to watch this as a recording later on. And without further ado, I'm going to start with a little bit of context on and around Elixir so that we all really on the same page before we then dive into the more concrete training platform activities. So Elixir Europe is an intergovernmental organization that brings together life science resources such as databases, software tools, training materials, interoperability resources, compute resources, as well as data management support. And the goal of Elixir is to then coordinate those bioinformatics resources from across Europe so that they are forming a single infrastructure. You can see the map at the right. We are at the moment expanding, and another couple of countries are becoming observers or potentially also members of the infrastructure. So it's quite exciting times to see, and more information will be made available as soon as all those changes have been made official. So how do we work? It's all about the people, and it's about groups of experts from different technological areas, scientific domains, all across Elixir nodes. And they're brought together in different entities. One of them are our Elixir platforms. There's also Elixir communities as well as focus groups. Focus groups are informal groups that look at emerging areas of interest in the life sciences, and they're mostly also open to non-Elixir members. Elixir communities are a growing group of people as well, and they are coming together with regards to certain scientific or technological topics. So what you can see at the right-hand side of the slide is the circle of our communities at the moment, and they range from, for example, systems biology over marine metagenomics, rare diseases, all the way to plant sciences or food and nutrition aspects. Those communities are formed around domain experts in Elixir nodes. They provide a mechanism for long-term collaboration also with other S3s and large-scale initiatives. They drive service development in the Elixir platforms, and we also really use them as the bidirectional link between communities and platforms to ensure that everybody has what they will be needing to do their bioinformatics and life science research, and they provide a framework to develop and maintain community standards. The Elixir Communities Handbook tells you not only what a community is, but also how you can join, what the benefits are, and how communities are structured. So do have a look at that document if you're keen to learn a little bit more. Elixir platforms are the 5 that you can see at the top right of this slide, and they bring together experts from nodes to develop Elixir's technical vision and coordinate activities in defined technical areas. And there are 5 platforms. So they are compute, data, tools, interoperability, and training. The Elixir Compute platform builds and integrates cloud compute, storage, and access services for the life science research community. Our data platform drives the use, reuse, and value of life science data by providing robust, long-term sustainable data resources within a coordinated, scalable, and connected data ecosystem. The tools platform itself helps communities to find, register, and benchmark software tools. It maintains information standards and procedures and adopts and promotes best practices for tool development. The interoperability platform per se helps people and machines to discover, access, integrate, and analyze biological data, and it encourages the life science community to adopt standardized file formats, metadata, and vocabularies. And the training platform, you can see the definition right down here, but I will go into much more detail in the coming minutes. We strengthen national training programs, grow bioinformatics training capacity and competences across Europe, and empower researchers to use Elixir services and tools. So how is this all supported? From the Elixir Hub perspective, the technical team supports and oversees the operation and development of all of Elixir's services at the European level, and we are acting as an interface between the nodes and their international activities and coordinating inter-node technical cooperation. The team is led by Peter McCallum as the CTO, and then together with my colleagues Fabio and Jonathan, we are the program managers overseeing most of the activities together with scientific and technical science officers who are also on the slide right down here. So let's move on to actually introduce the Elixir training platform to everybody today. A quick overview of what we are going to be covering, an introduction, the training platform, current work plan 2022 to 2023, with some short updates on the tasks that are being carried out at the moment. We will then show you the training platform lifecycle, showcase some of the links to projects and other initiatives, have a thank you to our platform members, and a brief outlook towards the 2024 to 2028 Elixir scientific program before we close. So the training platform itself was established to develop a training community that spans all Elixir member states who are represented by their respective training coordinators. And it aims to strengthen national training programs, grow bioinformatics training capacity and competences across Europe, and also empower researchers to use Elixir services and tools. And during the current work program, specifically the current tasks, we are focusing on 4 main areas around the training toolkit, a gap analysis with regards to training material development and training delivery. We're focusing on a technical training infrastructure and training capacity building. And an additional platform-related task and activity also is test the training e-support system. This is just an overview slide with some more detail on those 4 tasks, which we are going to cover on the consecutive slides as well. So how is the training platform being led from the Elixir perspective? The training platform has an executive committee composed of 3 platform leads. So you have Jessica Lindwall from Elixir Sweden, Fotis Psamopoulos from Elixir Greece, and Eva Llosa from Elixir Spain, and they are supported by myself as well as Manthos Pitoulias, the Senior Science Officer for Tools and Training at the Elixir Hub. Moving on to the mission and the vision of the activities that the platform is mainly carrying out. So by 2028, the Elixir training infrastructure will be a recognized and trusted life science training foundation across Europe, offering essential training resources to empower researchers to find, share, and receive training on life sciences, thus growing bioinformatics capacity and competence in Europe. And to achieve this vision, the mission that supports it is basically the infrastructure to offer a coherent, high quality, and impactful training program, realize a seamlessly integrated technical infrastructure to support training in the life sciences, and also establish a sustainable organizational framework dedicated to training. And for everybody's background, this really is very much important due to the fast-changing life science research environment, where education and training is key to empower researchers in all the different domains. What are the values that are underlying that mission and vision? It really is all about empowering training, as we see training an important part of the ecosystem, both as a way to upskill the community and also as a means to connect people and projects within and across communities. Another value is around community building, connecting training efforts and trainers within and across communities and Elixir member states. Collaboration is also key. The Elixir training infrastructure works in partnership internally within Elixir and across the Elixir nodes, but also connecting with European and international training communities. And last but not least, sharing fair and open data, but not only data, also material and all that relates to it. So the value is around promoting open and fair in all steps of training and throughout all educational chains. And with this in mind, we are going to go through a couple of slides on the current training platform tasks. There will be first one introducing you to the main key members and the leads, and also the nodes, basically the countries that are driving those activities. There's one overview, and then there's one overview slide to give you some of the outputs and the highlights of what has already happened in those activities during the last 18 months or so. Task 1, the training toolkit. The task is co-led by Eva Llosa from Elixir Spain and Annalisa Milano from the UK, who has now moved on to another role, but she has contributed substantially to some of the outputs that I am going to present now as well. So this task is split into two subtasks, where the first one is the maintenance and adoption of the Elixir training handbook, formerly also referred to as the toolkit. So this is about putting together the Elixir training toolkit, now referred to as a handbook, which is going to be launched very soon. So what is it all about? It's related to disseminating and adopting the handbook by the Elixir community. So far, we have manually identified 50 existing Elixir training best practices, guidelines, lessons learned from training experiences, specifications, personal guides, reports, and dedicated activities around Elixir implementation studies, and they will then also be findable in the handbook. We will be focusing also on maintaining, but also updating that handbook so that it really becomes a resource for members within Elixir, but also beyond. A search interface on public repositories is also already available, and the slides that you can see will be made available for everybody later on, so you can interact with them and have a look around. The second sub-activity under task 1, the training toolkit, is on quality and impact training assessment strategies. And that really focuses on implementing short and long-term feedback strategies for the majority of our Elixir nodes. As you can see here, in November 2022, a publication was formalized and finalized on the Elixir training quality and impact assessment strategy status. Moving on, we are now going to have a look at task 2 of the training platform work program, which is a gap analysis and the training materials and development and training delivery. The leads here are 6 of the training platform members. You can see all their names on the top left part of the slide. And this task itself is divided into 4 subtasks. So subtask 1 looks at the training gap analysis, and it's really about identifying training gaps. The survey is ongoing and has mainly been driven in interaction with communities and implementation studies. So to understand where the gaps are and where potentially then is also a good potential to develop further training material. And the second subtask is around hackathons on verifying existing training materials, as well as designing learning paths. One second. So what this task looks at is the development of fair training materials and the learning path design and the principles behind that concept. So what is happening at the moment is verification of existing training materials to align them with the fair training standards as well. We are currently working on finalizing the learning path protocols, which has already been adopted by some of the Elixir communities. And there's already material available to support users and developers to also then maintain, generate, and update their own learning path material. As part of the third subtask, design and delivery of training collections tailored to Elixir communities' needs, we're picking up on activities around the learning path themselves, but it's also really about members of the training platform supporting Elixir communities in developing their training collections. And there's a slide deck available on how to do so. Last but not least, as part of task 2, certification of training resources and activity that has been already carried out and produced drafts of a template for Elixir certification on training material and courses. Preliminary releases have been finalized, and there will be a final version of this before the end of the current work program. So the activities linked to this are also aligned with activities and work that is happening in the certification working group. We're now moving on to task 3 of the training platform tasks at the moment, the technical training infrastructure, which is also looking at consolidating quality and impact of the test training resources. This activity is being led by 6 individuals, again, at the top left of the slide, and the activities are split into 3 sub-activities. The first one looks at quality, findability, and interoperability of test training resources. And what is really the aim here is to support the nodes in also using tests in the sense of making their training materials available there and depositing information. A very recent publication on making bioinformatics training events and material more discoverable using TESS, the Elixir training portal, has been finalized and is now online since February this year. And it's really a great resource to also see and get some more context on what TESS is about and how to use it. The second subtask looks at supporting the integration of Elixir training collections and learning paths in TESS. So what you can see is being developed in task 2 now also needs to be supported from the technological point of view. So collections in TESS are already available. You have a link here with an example, and it's basically showing you how the different training materials are being put together. There's been quite a lot of work on the user interface proposal for learning paths, which is still under development. Aligned to the activities in this subtask, we have also set up a training platform GitHub organization for the creation of training materials. And this is a training platform-wide effort, which at the moment has also led to the first lesson template, which is following some of the Elixir branding and can be made available for whoever would like to use it. Subtask 3 here is assessing e-learning solutions across Elixir, and it's been carried out in engagement with the e-demontology team on e-learning related terms and open education resources, displaying existing Node e-learning services through the TESS platform as well. Task 4 is the final task of the 4 currently active in the training platform, and it's around training capacity building. This is being led by 2 sub-teams. One are Allegra and Patricia, and Celia and myself are leading on the second subtask of this task 4 here. So the first one is the train the trainer activities. So at the moment, this is around supporting nodes to deliver train the trainer courses, and that can be done in a face-to-face manner or online or hybrid as well. Activities are working towards continuing to expand the train the trainer framework to increase the skills of Elixir trainers as well as their number across the Elixir nodes. A couple of numbers: during 2022, 4 courses have been carried out and 46 people have been trained. In 2023, there's already more than 7 of those courses planned, so we're aiming to reach more people to then be able to again disseminate that information and become trainers themselves in their respective national context as well. 2 professional guides have been published, the links are here, and 2 are in ongoing collaboration with Goblet, currently work in progress. And those are guides on how to teach to train the trainer. There's printable formats of materials available. They're complementary to the online GitHub repository hosting materials and the slides and so on. And the topics that are still coming up are principles of learning and how they apply to training and learning experiences into practice. So there's also ongoing contribution to community work and a handbook on making the training materials fair, as mentioned in one of the other tasks earlier as well. The second subtask here looks at supporting Elixir management and operations. So this is aiming to support the adoption of the Elixir Handbook of Operations by Elixir managers, and a webinar has been hosted some time ago where the Handbook of Operations was introduced, and the recording and slides are available as well. Ongoing activities focus on people onboarding to the Elixir network and will also be expanded upon during the upcoming all-hands meeting. There's links and collaborations with other projects and initiatives such as the Converge project, the Right Train Plus project, the EMRI project as well, the EOSC initiative, and 2 staff exchange proposals or programs within Elixir, namely Elitma and OTAN. And with this, we have made it to the end of the 4 tasks, and I would like to move on to the training platform lifecycle and services. So this shall give you a bit of an overview of what the platform develops and supports, but also tell you what and how you can use it. So what really is the offer to the training community? What you can see here is a 5-step circle, and I would like to start with designing learning materials, which then moves on to the learning pathways, the delivery of courses, impact assessment, and feedback to the process. And depending on the shape of the type of shape you can see here, we are either talking about activities that the training platform is engaged in and developing, as well as then the services and the products that these activities produce and are available to the wider community too. So when we look at designing learning materials, the activities that are carried out are around fair training material, the trainer, but also lesson templates and TESS itself for material deposition. So the services that are available in that context are train the trainer courses, but also materials so that individuals can take that into their own context and use it. TESS itself as the repository, and GitHub as a tool to engage and also use and deposit information. Once the material has been designed, it can be put together into learning pathways. There's professional guidelines, the TESS learning pathways infrastructure, as well as fair material, which can support the development of those learning pathways. The service to mention here again is TESS. Once the learning pathways have been identified, the courses want and need to be delivered. So in that context, Elixir has a network of trainers. We have a code of conduct that can be used, adopted, and reused as well. We are having an infrastructure and availability of short and long-term feedback terms that can be used. Certification is a topic that we're working on, as well as TESS for course deposition. So the services here are training resource certification, the training metrics database, which is the tool that we're using for the feedback collection, the training handbook, as well as TESS itself. Once the courses have been delivered, it is highly important and recommendable to also assess impact. So in this case, the training metrics database, TMD, can be used to assess impact and review what has worked, what hasn't worked, also compare it to other courses and see a bigger picture, for example, in a national or inter-European context. And last but not least, feedback to the process is of high importance to us as well. So we're looking into improving the handbook, the lessons learned, and best practices. And the service that's available here is the training handbook for everybody's use. So this slide really gives you an overview of the services. The Elixir training platform hosts and supports these, and they can be used by Elixir members as well as more broadly. You've got all the links here. We are very happy to also answer any questions later on if there are any. And I'm now going to elaborate a little bit on links to projects and other initiatives where we are engaged in as well, and that you might be aware of given other contexts too. So project links and engagement which are core to the Elixir training platform are the Converge project, and to name but only one, the work package 2, which is around training and capacity building in data management. So the activities here have always been carried out in very close collaboration with the training platform, also building on the assets that have been available or are available in the platform itself. And at the moment, there really is a need to ensure embedding of the results and continuity in some of those activities after the project ends, which is this summer. And a lot of activities have already been running to really make sure that none of the information gets lost, but actually gets to find a new home. Elitma is an initiative that also links to task 6.4 of the Converge program project. There's a report on this that you can look at, and it is currently delivered with the intention to keep growing and support people development in the future as well. Now, moving on to some more external projects, EMRI is the Executive Masters in Management for Research Infrastructures, which emerged from the RightTrain project. After the 2 initial editions of the master itself, this has now been adopted by the University Milano Bicocca, which still offers the course to participants. And every year we have Elixir teams attending those courses and benefiting from the information and the lectures that are being carried out there. Elixir sponsors the attendance of the representatives to attend the modules. And RightTrain Plus, as I mentioned, it's a follow-up on the EMRI course itself. Nevertheless, it's a more modular based course around continuous professional development courses. The first version of these are going to be taught this summer. And if you're interested, there's currently an open application to attend the modules itself. And the course is focused mainly on management training for scientific excellence. Elixir representatives contribute to the delivery of some of the modules around LC, RDM, industry engagement, and impact assessment in research infrastructures. Links to other larger initiatives that we wanted to highlight are aligning with the EOSC Association. So we have 3 of our Elixir training platform representatives being active members in 3 task forces on and around data stewardship, curricula and career path, research careers recognition and credit, as well as upskilling countries to engage in EOSC. Goblet, the global organization for bioinformatics learning, education and training, has also been a long-standing partner of training platform activities, and I had mentioned the co-developed professional guides, as well as collaborations around the Train the Trainer program. Training platform members are also represented in and very active in a number of European projects. To name a few, there is Profit, EOSC for Cancer, as well as by COVID. And I have to make a disclaimer that this slide might not be fully complete. Apart from those outward-facing connections, the training platform also has put a lot of effort into linking to other Elixir entities. So we have a number of communities here on that slide, such as the single-cell omics, systems biology, biodiversity. There's a strategic implementation study on containers, machine learning activities, as well as the Galaxy community. And there's clear links with some of the platforms as well. So what does that mean? It's really about ensuring that the knowledge that has or is being hosted and embedded in the training platform also gets communicated to others in other Elixir structures, so to make the best use of what's available and can be benefited from by others as well. Who are the members? Who is making all this happen? I just wanted to present some of the people in the team. What you can see here are a couple of pictures, face-to-face, virtual, as well as in a hybrid setting from the last 2 meetings that we were happy to have during 2022 and 2023. And to finish off, I still have 2 or 3 slides to have a bit of a look ahead into the 2024 to 2028 Elixir scientific program. So what are the long-term goals and objectives? I have mentioned this in our mission and vision. The Elixir training platform aims to be the European training infrastructure for the life sciences community. And all the objectives are long-term goals. So during the 2024 to 2026 work program, we aim to administer and grow the current work program and tasks, but also look at reshaping and developing the training platform. And the tasks are aiming to intensify the connection to the outer ecosystem using the co-production model. We're aiming to capitalize on the existing infrastructure, structures, best practices, and other training-specific outputs. And what we would like to achieve is an interplay, but also leveraging synergies across the what, how, where, and the who. So what you can see in this visual overview here is the knowledge, the what aims to build training capacity and skills across Elixir nodes within data life cycle topics coupled to bioinformatics and life sciences. So in that case, we're looking at people, courses, as well as content. How are we aiming to do this? That's when the standards come into play. So promoting standards and best practices for open science and open education, aligning to EOSC initiatives, linking to the FAIR principles, EOSC activities, as well as certification itself. Where will all of this happen? In an infrastructure setup. So by establishing a coherent training platform infrastructure by seamlessly integrating existing technical services and resources. And here I would like to highlight TEST, the training metrics database, but also the RDM kit, a trainer registry, the Elixir training platform handbook, and GitHub as a tool. And who is all around the people and really enabling the Elixir training platform members' identity that can support open, robust, and ethical data-driven research in the life sciences. So what is next for you? I would really like to encourage everybody to use the services available to reach out to us in case of any questions and or if there's interest. Also spread the word and feel free to have a look at the training platform website for more information.